It isn't really that terrific, Sock. It's pretty easy for me, in fact. I did my best to keep the condescension out of my voice, but was unable to hold back a proud smile. I was used to showing this sort of thing to kids at the beach or the park. They always wanted to see it again too. All right now, Sock, watch closely. I leaped upward, and was just turning over when someone or something tossed me through the air. I landed in a heap on the couch. The Mexican blanket from the back of the couch wrapped itself around me, covering me. I poked my head out from the covers quickly, looking for Socrates. He was still sitting across the room, 12 feet away, curled in his chair and smiling mischievously. "How did you do that?" My confusion was as total as his look of innocence. "Did you like the ride?" he asked. "Do you want to see it again?" adding, "Don't feel badly about your little slip, Dan. Even a great warrior like you can make a boo-boo now and then." I stood numbly, and straightened the couch, tucking the blanket back in. I had to do something with my hands. I needed time to think. How had he done it? Another question that would go unanswered. Socrates padded softly out of the office, to fill the tank of a pickup truck full of household belongings. Off to cheer up another traveler on his journey, I thought. Then I closed my eyes, and pondered Sock's apparent defiance of natural laws, or at least, common sense. "Would you like to learn some secrets?" I hadn't even heard him come in. He was seated in his chair, his legs crossed. I crossed my legs too, and leaned forward eagerly. Misjudging the softness of the couch, I leaned a little bit too far and tipped over. Before I could untangle my legs, I found myself sprawled face down on the rug. Socrates was beside himself with laughter. Sat up quickly, ramrod straight. One look at my stolid expression almost made Sock completely helpless with mirth. More accustomed to applause than to ridicule, I leaped to my feet in shame and anger. Sock cut himself short. His face and voice were charged with authority. "Sit down," he commanded, pointing to the couch. "Sat. I asked you if you wanted to hear a secret." "I do, about rooftops." "You get to choose whether or not you want to hear a secret." "I choose what it is about." "Why do we always have to play by your rules?" "Because it's my station, that's why." Sock spoke with exaggerated petulance, possibly mocking me further. "Now pay close attention. By the way, are you comfortable, and up, stable too?" he winked. I just clenched my teeth. "Dan, I have places to show you and tales to tell. I have secrets to unfold. But before we begin this journey together, you must appreciate that a secret's value is not in what you know, but what you do with what you know." Sock took an old dictionary from his drawer, and held it in the air. "Use whatever knowledge you have, but see its limitations. Knowledge alone does not suffice. It has no heart. No amount of knowledge will nourish or sustain your spirit. It can never bring you ultimate happiness or peace. Life requires more than knowledge. It requires intense feeling and constant energy. Life demands right action, if knowledge is to come alive. I know that, Sock. That's your problem, you know, but you don't act. You're not a warrior." "Socrates, I just can't believe that. I know at times I've acted like a warrior, when the pressure was really on. You should see me in the gym. Granted that you may, in fact, experience the mind of a warrior on occasion, resolute, flexible, clear, and free of doubt. You can develop the body of a warrior, lithe, supple, sensitive, and filled with energy. In rare moments, you may even feel the heart of a warrior, loving everything and everyone who appears before you. But these qualities are fragmented in you. You lack integration. My task is to put you back together again, Humpty. Wait a damn minute, Socrates. Though I don't doubt you have some unusual talents, and like to surround yourself with an air of mystery, I don't see how you can presume to put me back together. Let's look at the situation. I am a college student. You service cars. I am a world champion. You tinker in the garage, make tea, and wait for some poor fool to walk in, so you can frighten the wits out of him. Maybe I can help put you back together. I didn't quite know what I was saying, but it felt good. Socrates just laughed, shaking his head, as if he couldn't quite believe what I'd said. Then he came over to me, and knelt down at my side, saying, "You put me back together. Maybe you will have that chance someday, but not for now. You should understand the difference between us. He poked me in the ribs, then poked me again and again, saying, "The warrior acts." Damn it, stop that, I yelled. You're getting on my nerves. And the fool only reacts. Well, what do you expect? I poke you and you get irritable. I insult you and you react with pride and anger. I slip on a banana peel and... He took 2 steps away from me and slipped, landing with a thud on the carpet. I couldn't hold it in. I bellowed. Fantasy world. It's crazy. Yes, he smiles sadly, it is crazy. Socrates sat back in his chair, and looked down at the floor. My mind rebelled at his helpless old man ploy, but my heart was drawn to this robust old eccentric who claimed to be some kind of warrior. I took my jacket off, removed my shoes, and sat back down. Then a story that my grandfather had told me came to mind. There was once a beloved king whose castle was on a high hill, overlooking his shire. He was so popular that the nearby townspeople sent him gifts daily, and his birthday celebration was enjoyed throughout the kingdom. The people loved him for his renowned wisdom and fair judgments. One day, tragedy struck the town. The water supply was polluted, and every man, woman, and child went insane. Only the king, who had a private spring, was spared. Soon after the tragedy, the mad townspeople began speaking of how the king was acting strangely, and how his judgments were poor, and his wisdom a sham. Many even went so far as to say that the king had gone crazy. His popularity soon vanished. No longer did the people bring him gifts or celebrate his birthday. The lonely king, high on the hill, had no company at all. One day he decided to leave the hill and pay a visit to the town. It was a warm day, and so he drank from the village fountain. That night there was a great celebration. The people all rejoiced, for their beloved king had regained his sanity. I realized then that the crazy world that Socrates had referred to was not his world at all, but mine. I stood, ready to leave. "Socrates, you've told me to listen to my own body intuition, and not depend upon what I read, or what people tell me. Why, then, should I sit quietly and listen to what you tell me?" "A very good question," he answered. "There is an equally good answer. First of all, I speak to you from my own experience. I am not relating abstract theories I read in a book, or heard second-hand from an expert. I am one who truly knows his own body and mind, and therefore, knows others as well. Besides," he smiled, "how do you know that I'm not your body intuition, speaking to you now?" He turned to his desk and picked up some paperwork. I had been dismissed for the evening. My whirling thoughts carried me into the night. I was upset for days afterwards. I felt weak and inadequate around this man, and I was angry about the way he treated me. He constantly seemed to underestimate me. I wasn't a child. Why should I choose to play a jackass sitting in a gas station, I thought, when here, in my domain, I am admired and respected. I trained harder than ever in gymnastics. My body burned with fever as I flew and fought my way through routine after routine. Yet it was somehow less satisfying than before. Every time I learned a new move, or received a compliment, I remembered being tossed through the air onto the couch by that old man. Hal, my coach, became concerned about me, and wanted to know if anything was wrong.